On this wet and beautiful Friday, welcome you to another edition of our weekly press briefing that is held here every Friday at this time at the Executive Mansion. The Executive Mansion regular press briefing is an opportunity to give the country an idea on what the president is doing, his work, the different meetings he's had, and some of the issues he's discussed over the course of the week. And it's a part of it that draws on all of his different activities. And then on Friday, we're able to give you updates on what's happening and what's going to happen in the coming week. So again, I'd like to welcome every one of you who are listening to this live broadcast, whether you are listening to it via radio or you're watching it on social media or you are watching it on television. We'd like to say welcome. And those of you who are in the counties and following this live broadcast, we want to say as well welcome to all of you to our regular press briefings. And today, press briefing, we're going to talk about a number of things. But before we go there, when we started this initiative of informing the public on the happenings of the presidency, we try in as much as possible to have our counties involved. We normally try to invite journalists from across the county to be a part of this regular press briefing. And interestingly for today, we have the journalist coming all the way from Maryland County. Can you imagine? And then this is rainy season as well. He is here as well. We want to say welcome to Moses Gipley, ELBC County correspondent for Maryland County. He's also part of this press briefing today. I want to say welcome. And to those of you who are in Maryland and you're following, and you will be listening to this press briefing later on when Moses put together all of his updates, we want to say again, welcome to all of you. Today we like to give you some updates, as I've said, on the workings of the presidency. The President Week has been another very busy week. As some of you have followed, the President Week ended last week with a very lengthy cabinet retreat. But before we talk about the cabinet retreat, I'd like to update you that His Excellency has visited the family of the fallen political leader of UPP, Mr. McDonough Wento. He had gone there yesterday to sympathize with the family. The president expressed his condolences to the bereaved family and has also expressed to people who have lost their lives, and particularly in this case, Mr. Wento, who have recently been a supporter of His Excellency. He'd like to again extend the sympathy to the bereaved family and ask and pray that the Lord guide the family in this challenging time of bereavement. His Excellency also, as I've said, had his first cabinet retreat at the ministerial complex in Congo-town, where he invited cabinet members, both of the high-level cabinet ministers, but also deputy and assistant ministers and heads of corporations who were part of the retreat. Many presentations were made, presentations on the key sectors, an opportunity to talk about the different sectors, to talk about the plans, the vision, what they intend to do and how they intend to do those, especially as all of them culminates into what is called their rest agenda. And that agenda is, as part of the retreat, again, the president did mention of the development of the country's development plan. And part of the retreat, all of what were discussed and presentations made were presented in the cabinet secretariat headed by the director general, are currently working on all of those to see how that report can begin the process of developing the country's development plan. And that development plan will come out of their rest agenda, as the president announced. It will definitely be the development agenda that will talk about the different plans, the timelines, the different sectors, specifically for the period of, the first, remaining time that this government has. But every time, you remember, back then we had the 2030 vision, the Vision 2030, out of which there was the agenda for transformation. And in fact, part of that 2030 was also what the former administration also had, the agenda for proper agenda for development. So in this administration, after this very important retreat that was had, the development agenda is going to be developed coming out of all those key information that were presented by the different line agencies. Interestingly, for the first time, our development partners were part of the retreat. They made relevant presentations, including the World Bank, the African Development Bank, but also other international partners, including the European Union, our partners, the United States government, specifically USAID, and a number of different partners. And this was very important. 3 full days of retreat, and the president has expressed his interest in showing that this form of engagement is regular during the course of his administration. Next, we will talk about the recent meeting of the African Development Bank's 60th anniversary, but also the annual meeting that His Excellency sent his delegation, including the Minister of Finance, Development Planning, the Minister of State without portfolio, Madam Mama Kabilite, and Minister Kwame Kamara, along with different ministers. Where in Kenya, they just returned and they've briefed the president. In fact, the meeting is still ongoing. It should be concluding this weekend. And then there have been a number of different outcomes. In fact, a very important outcome is that the president of the African Development Bank just announced to that meeting when he spoke a contribution or a support of 3.5 to almost $5 billion that will go towards the Liberty Corridor that's linking Liberia to Guinea, trying to mobilize that resources. And Minister Bilite and the team briefed the president. The president is very excited to see the consummation or the beginning of those form of connectivity between the countries within the sub-region. As you know, the president always talked about the issue of roads, connectivity between the region. The recent meeting that he had at the U.S. Africa Summit, he did also mention about the connectivity within the sub-region. And this support will be very important between Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire. As you know, Liberia played a key role in the sub-region where in contribution to commerce, our women and people to cross-border trade. So everything the president does, especially in connection to role within the sub-region, is something that he looks forward to. And specifically on this support, the president has expressed his enthusiasm and is happy that the FDB is again part of this process of contributing to ensuring that the sub-region is open and accessible for business, opportunities. I will also finally like to announce to all of you that the president, His Excellency President Joseph Imam Boakai, will be traveling out of the country tomorrow. He will be heading to South Korea in Seoul to attend the Korea-Africa Summit. He's going to go to the summit between tomorrow and on the 8th. He's going to return on the 8th. And the summit is a very important summit that is bringing leaders within the Asian world. But part of the reasons why the president is going to that summit is to also talk about the importance of our sectors, the commercial sector, tourism, agriculture, and all those key areas that he's outlined. And the meeting, he's looking forward to holding bilateral conversations with presidents that have been invited to the meeting, including President William Ruto. He's also meeting a lot of different leaders, including the president of Seoul, and a number of other, as he prepares to leave the country. There are many requests that have been happening, but he's also going to speak at the forum, and there will be an investment forum just specifically and particularly on Liberia. So the president will be leaving the country tomorrow evening and will return on the 8th as head of delegation to the Korea-Africa Summit. And this is the first summit happening between Korea and Africa, and it's really an opportunity to leverage what we have and what challenges we have, but more so attracting investment in Liberia. Finally, in consummation of the visit, we've at the office here of our press office, we've also launched. We're launching now. We want to announce to you that we have launched, or we are launching the presidential dispatch. You can see the excitement in my face, that we've done this within a very crunch time, to be able to really work along with the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, as well as the National Investment Commission and the National Port Authority, to put together our investment information on the key sectors: agriculture, road, finding the opportunities in those sectors. And we hope that this will be distributed in Korea, so key partners can look in here and see where are the business opportunities and how they're able to invest in this. This is our first edition, our office working along with the key agencies to put this together. To inform the world and other parts of the world, of course, the key partners, on important sectors in our country, and bringing forth investments, and more importantly, to tell the story of our president, especially as someone who is really every day looking forward to opportunities to develop the country. Something that he stood on and standing on and he talked about, that he's looking forward to showing that the country is open, attracting investment and investors, working with young people in terms of education, in terms of agriculture, and showing that we can produce our own food. And again, he recently set up the rice committee, and all of the work we've done over the course of the time you've been president, all is in the interest of ensuring that Liberia is better than our America. Again, thank you for coming to this press briefing. We'll take a few questions as you guys announce of the visit, so that between now we have crunch time to get things going. But thank you again for coming to this press briefing, and I look forward to taking questions.
And that's it, Madam Kula Fofana, the Presidential Press Secretary, in this regular press briefing right here at the Executive Mansion. And welcome to the Executive Mansion online platform. I'm Emmanuel Kipart.
Few questions quickly. During the last press conference that was held here at the Executive Mansion, we raised concern about the President's action towards officials in his government who have refused to declare the asset. And in response, you said the President was going to take action at the cabinet retreat. I was there, I didn't hear anything of such. Can you tell us, would the President still take action, or why he did not take action at the cabinet retreat as he stated? My next question is, during the cabinet retreat, this information about moving equipment, 285 pieces, was the news of the time. And the Minister of State of our portfolio, in her statement, said that we have 285 pieces of earth-moving equipment already on their way on the ship to Liberia. That was on board. Equipment are on their way to Liberia. Following public pressure, the Minister of Information backtracked, saying that the equipment discussions are still ongoing. So, from the level of the presidency, where do we stand? Looking at a statement from the Minister of State of our portfolio and another statement, who is saying the truth to the Liberian people? Thank you very much.
Questions? And Madam Fofana, the next question from Maryland County.
Thank you. My name is Moses Jigley from Maryland County, the last county in the Republic of Liberia. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have been called by the Executive Press Bureau to attend the Executive Press Conference. I must be grateful again to this government for the first of the time to have traveled in the Southeast a day and a half to enter in Monrovia. I want to say kudos to the Joseph Nima Bwaka administration. My concern as a journalist in rural Liberia and a citizen from the Southeast, I'm looking at the sustainability of the road project. The road is good. Marketeers are jubilating in the Southeast, motorcyclists on a daily basis celebrating. But I'm concerned about the sustainability from the government. How is the government planning to sustain the current status of the road from Maryland to Nima County? Thank you.
Chief Leader from Maryland County, and this is the regular press briefing right here taking place at the Executive Mansion, and we're here on the...
Thank you very much. I will start with the last question on the sustainability of the road. That's a very important question. And one of the plans is that part of this was a short-term plan to ensure that the road is accessible, or roads across the country are accessible for people to move in and out. As we get closer to the rainy season, it's important that this is maintained and sustained. One of the things that the Ministry of Public Works have said is that the process of the road network programs that are happening, that is the maintenance of the road, is to ensure that they are possible, pliable during the course of all weathers, for example, rainy crisis and all that. So the plan, the short-term plan, is to ensure that this continues. Where there are challenging parts, there will be road work teams there to be able to make those places accessible by the people. And the long-term plan is to ensure that the roads are paved. One of President Wakai's plan is to ensure that roads are paved all across the country. So yes, there's a plan to sustain the work that's happening. And thank you again for coming from all the way back. Then it used to take us forever to get to and from Maryland. In fact, people used to go other countries to come to the South, and it's no longer happening. You can drive under 2 days to come to Monrovia from Maryland County. On the issue of the who's saying the truth, again, I would like to say in this public manner, and thank you for your questions and whatnot. I know sometimes it's interesting how you journalists would like to put people in a spot where to say who was wrong, who was right, but this is what I'm going to say to all of you and those who listen. The official spokesperson of the government. And the official spokespersons of the government are the Minister of Information, Culture, Affairs and Tourism, who speaks for the entirety of the government, the different line agencies, and ourselves. That is, we speak for the presidency as the presidential press secretary. So when, as the minister has said, the Minister of Information, that the government is working to ensure that those equipment are filled. And that is the information and the official information from the government. In fact, when journalists have reached out to me about this particular subject, I did refer them to the Minister of Information because most importantly, this is about the overall government, and it culminates with, or it connects between the Ministry of Public Works, as you know, the issue of road, and road work is public works, and other Ministry of State does a lot of different relations. The Ministry of State does a lot of engagement as well. But I'm here to let you know that the information that the minister gives, that is the actual and the real information, that the government is seeking permission for procuring processes. And within under our laws, there are procedures to procure anything for government. And those procedures will be followed. I'm sure the Minister of Information did say that. And the government does not. It is in no way intending to go against any law or any legal processes or procedures. And yes, the presentation was made at the cabinet retreat. Many presentations were made at the cabinet retreat. And that's why I did also talk about the cabinet retreat here. So really let the people know how successful the cabinet retreat was. For the first time, we had partners coming there committing to the development agenda of the country, committing to helping the government, committing to helping the people. So it's important for us to really flesh out that entirety of the information because, with the entire 3 full days, in fact, we go to the cabinet retreat earlier on between 8 and 9, and we from there to 8 p.m. for straight 3 days. The president and vice president sits through all of the engagement. It's an important information. And Liberians in and out of Liberia were able to follow for the first time what's happening in cabinet retreat. Most of you, and let me again thank the media, you all were there carrying the information live, letting people know what's happening at the cabinet retreat. And that is something that's very important. I understand, we're all in this media business, there's this part. All of us are happy about the earth moving equipment. I can't wait once it gets here for me and my Kipman people. I'll put the press secretary Liberia on one side and be along with my people in Kipman who carry our own machines, you know. But the truth of the matter remains that the Minister of Information has already provided the information as to the current status of the yellow mission. And I hope that we Liberians will really be able to listen to our relevant authority. There is certainly, again, I've heard a lot of different commentaries about who's speaking the truth and again, everyone can express a side, whether you're in government, you're outside government, a leader in this sector can say something, this other leader can say something, but the official spokesperson that people should pay heed to. Those are the Ministry of Information, Culture, and Tourism, and our office. So these two offices, any information coming from the Ministry of Information, Culture, and Tourism, and the Office of the Presidential Press Secretary are the information that the government is projecting. All the other ones, yes, you can listen to them, but where you put, oh, this person said this, but please listen to the sources. And I've always said the official sources of communication. When the Executive Mansion posts it out, we have the Executive Mansion website. We also have the Executive Mansion Facebook page, the official page of the Executive Mansion. Those would be the authentic information, as well as the Ministry of Information. And please, as a media institution, let's work with these institutions to get official information in relation to the government. I hope I've explained and sustained this part of the conversation very well. I'm going to comment about the action that the president will take. Well, again, the president is very clear. In fact, part of the retreat, I'm sure you do know that LSCC did a presentation to inform the audience and the cabinet ministers of the different procedures around asset declaration. The truth remains there are people who are just coming into government, especially if you look at the local leadership, people at the county levels, the commissioners, the city mayors, so people, it's their first time, which is not a justification, but the truth remains, most people, it's like their first time, so they may not have had an opportunity to get a form of orientation on what it is to do asset declaration, all of that. So there's a plan with the cabinet secretariat, as well as, in fact, one of the things that the president did say was to have LACC, he mentioned GSC to an extent, remind people to be able to do that. And LACC have been very meticulous in providing the forms, explaining what the process is, and the cabinet secretariat has received a number of forms to be able to inform members of cabinet, and also the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the minister and his team, also working to explain this to people, especially at the county people who really don't understand the whole process of filling out the form. This is their first time serving government, so all of those different things. And I'm sure if you speak with LACC, they will tell you since the time of their announcement till now, there are more people who have declared their assets. Again, I think those are the key things that we covered. Thank you all for coming to our regular press briefing. We'll try as much as possible while we're in Seoul, Korea, to get in touch with some of you so you can let the Liberians know, the public know what's going on. And please feel free to reach out. I know there'll be huge time difference, but feel free to send us a WhatsApp message and we can respond to some of your queries of the country or what's happening in Seoul. Thank you all. Have a wonderful Friday.
All right, she's the Presidential Press Secretary, Madam Kula Fofana, right here, ending that press briefing, right here at the Executive Mansion. And this is where we will certainly leave it for and on behalf of the entire team, right here at the Executive Mansion. Lovette, Famule, Kula Fofana, Abraham Williams, that's Lovette Fofana, as Lovette Famule, yes, and Kula Fofana and the rest of the team, Samuel. So, my name is Emmanuel Kippert, alongside my colleague right here, Abraham Kabake. Until we catch you another time around, do have a pleasant day. Bye-bye. Thanks for viewing.